Okay, everyone, so you have now completed your literature review, theory and hypothesis, research design, and results section. Really, the only thing left is an introduction, a discussion, and a conclusion. So that's what this lecture is about, and I'm going to give you some outlines and examples of what this is going to look like. Okay, so for today, we're talking about introductions, discussions, and conclusions, including a basic outline that you can use, and then some examples from those bookend sections. Okay, so introductions are really like miniature versions of your full paper. So if you have a literature review, a theory and hypothesis, a research design, and a results section, you already have the bulk of the things for your introduction, because your introduction is largely a summary of your full paper. Okay. So it should have an outline that looks something like this. In that first paragraph, you are going to be talking you have a couple of options here, right? The first is where you are tying your research question to a relevant newspaper story, right? Or a relevant thing that's like a current event. So if you are looking at the effect of multilateral treaties on economies, right? You would maybe highlight Brexit, right? Or if you can't find anything on treaties specifically, something from the news specifically, you can just jump into why that research question is important. But I think the better one is, can you find something in the news or something in popular press that you could quickly tie in as sort of a hook, right, for your research question. The next 1 to 2 paragraphs are a brief summary of your literature review and how it relates to your research question. So here you might say like a quick summary of your camps, where you say, in one camp, they find that X causes Y. In another camp, they find the opposite, that X doesn't cause Y. And in a third camp, they find that X causes Y only in these certain scenarios. However, I think that I can build from this further and argue Z, right? Now, that next paragraph, the third or potentially fourth paragraph, is you're going to have a summary of what you are theorizing and hypothesizing is going to happen in your results. Okay, and then the final 1 to 2 paragraphs of your research design is your research design and results. So this is a brief summary of what methodological strategy you chose. Did you choose case studies? Did you choose correlational analyses? Did you use a t-test? Did you use correlation? Did you use process tracing? And then you describe what you found. Did you find support for your hypothesis? Did you not find support for your hypothesis? Did you find mixed support for your hypothesis? And all in all, this is somewhere between 4 to 6 paragraphs, right? Or approximately 2.5 pages, somewhere in there. In terms of the discussion and conclusion, you should have 1 to 2 paragraphs where you're going to describe your results and how they fit with your hypotheses. Did you find support or no? So this in some ways is consistent with your results section. Then you're going to talk about how these results fit with pre-existing literature. So do you remember how you had camps, right? Do your results hold up one camp more than the other? Okay, and then the next 1 to 2 paragraphs are, what are the implications of your findings? Okay, so what do they mean more broadly? Are there questions about democratic stability? What does this mean about polarization? What does this mean about policy outcomes? There are a lot of different options, but just make sure you think about what is the ultimate punchline of your finding? Why is it important, right? And talk about that here. Okay. The next part, so you could have found the opposite of what you expected with your hypothesis. Are there any potential reasons for that, right? If you found what you expected, that's cool too. But in any case, in this part, you want to talk about potential limitations in terms of your data, in terms of your process tracing, in terms of your case selection. Was there potentially something else going on, right? You want to be upfront here about what the limitations of your research were. And then the final 1 to 2 paragraphs, don't be short on this either. This is where a lot of work goes. Where would you take this research next? What areas for future work do you foresee? So do you see this being analyzed for the 2024 election or the 2026 election? Do you see this being applied to other states? Where could you see this research going next? Because research is a conversation, right? It's not like I found the answer, this is over, right? You want to be having a conversation with your research with other researchers, right? Where will this be going next? But ultimately, this is what we talked about. These are the basic outlines. I'll post an example too of what an introduction, discussion, and conclusion looks like. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me.